Alright, welcome back for part 3. I am done eating dinner, and I should warn you that my energy levels are now officially through the floorboards. I do not do well after I eat. I'm basically passing out. But I will do my best. What I'm going to do on this part is render out this map, and we'll see about what we get in UDK versus what we see in here. And there's going to be quite a drastic difference, but hopefully everything will work out okay. So what we're going to do is come up to render UVs and maps, extract texture maps, new operation. I'm going to do a normal map. Now this is going to kind of go off the screen here. Let's get that all in place like so. And here we go. Level 0, level 5. If you click on the level, it'll actually let you pick a different level. So we'll pick level 5. Target is level 0. We're going to keep everything pretty much default, except we are going to change the method here to subdivision. That will basically switch the whole operation. Going to pick a 2048. Anti-aliasing is going to be off. We don't really need it. We could use it, but I'm just gonna save here as rat recruit underscore nm, and this is going to be a TGA. I don't even know where that came from. Did I make that? Preview is normal map, and we're gonna pick 3ds Max as our compatibility mode. I don't think that actually matters, and hit extract, and as you'll see the progress down here as it goes, and I'm not really going to pause it because I don't think it's going to take all that long. Okay, and just keep moving back and forth till this starts highlighting, and it's still calculating. Okay, now as you can see here, it did make our UV channel number 2, but it is unloaded. If I go to paint here, you can see I got my normal map. I think if you hit the up arrow, yeah. Alright, let's show the normal map. And the first thing you'll notice is, oh god, you know, it's all broken. And it looks really bad. All your seams are horrible. But not to worry, let's just page ourselves down here to get to the base level of the geometry. I'm gonna sneeze, so I'm gonna pause. Okay, sorry about that. So you can see that the normal map is here, but it looks pretty bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to max, and let's just hit Z. Let's go back to my space mouse here. And what I'm gonna do is, just for the sake of demonstration purposes, I'm going to make a copy of that. Now, what I'm going to do is come here to the unwrap and open it up. There's 2 ways to go about this. One being I can put the UVs back like this, select them all. Oops, let me show that. Make sure that this absolute type in thing here is active, hit -1, and then flip it. The other method, and I can collapse that. The other method, let's make another duplicate, okie dokie, would be to simply hit it with symmetry, and you can see that it picked the wrong side, so we'll go back to symmetry, and I'll just flip that, and it's still the wrong side. let me check something here. Let's check which side of our model is our good side first. That would be an important thing to check, which is all the faces on this side of the unwrap. Now if I look, that is his left side, okay, which also back in Mudbox was the side that wasn't unloaded, okay, just to point that out. So our left side is good. Now what I can do here is I can select all of these faces and hit Control I to get the right side, and when I collapse this, collapse 2, and I come here, you can see that it selects that geometry. It remembers that selection. So if I delete that and now I hit symmetry, you can see I can flip him, check the unwrap, and that's pretty much the exact same thing. So either way you want to do it. The reason that the unwrap didn't work, it just didn't update. I would need to delete it and re-add it. No biggie. So it doesn't matter which one of these guys I actually export. I just don't want to export the one that isn't flipped, which is this one on the right over here, which I just kept so that I have a record of it. So I'm going to take this guy, and for now I'm just going to export it as a static mesh. So just export selected, and we'll come here to my UDK folder, development, source, rat scheme, content, characters, be a folder in here somewhere, and it's time to make a folder. So recruit, I want to pick, I pretty much can't really show this, it's dropped down, oh it's actually right near the top, ASCII scene. Okay, this is going to be rat recruit static test. Okay, save. Mesh definitions and materials, geometric, you want all three of these. None of this other stuff matters because there's none of that stuff in the scene anyway. And just hit the okie doke, and that's all we need to do. So I'm gonna save this file here and open up UDK, and I don't want to rebuild scripts, doesn't really matter. Let's go into Photoshop here and go to recent places, and you'll see here that I've got two textures. And if I open them up, let's just drag one over it onto the other one. Is that not working? Oh, it's because it's background. Just Alt double click. Now it should let me drag. Why am this not work? Oh, it might be because UDK was opening and freaking on me. It's a first. My move tool is literally doing nothing. It's not taking focus. What is my image mode at? RGB, 8 colors. Borked. But that's not the point of this anyway. You just see that they're flipped of each other. U1 V1 is my left side. U2 V1 is the right side. So let's get into UDK. Alright. And let's import our static mesh. This is going to be called character recruit. That's the name of the package. Mesh, not mess. Hit OK. Double click him. Let's scale this guy here. There he is in all of his glory. And if we show the UVs, UV channel 0, you can see that it's all packed in there nice, but however both sides are mirrored. Okay. So let's import our texture. U1V1 is the one we want. I don't care that it's named that. I can delete that part if I really want to, but let's just open that. We want no alpha, and we want TC normal map for our compression settings so that it does come in as a normal map. And let's put that in that textures folder. Hit okie doke. So we'll take a minute. And there we go. So let's create a new material. And we'll just call it Rat Recruit Mat. Okay, what I want to do is I want to get my mesh here selected, minimize that, and popped in here so that he does in fact show up. And what I'm going to do is just put a simple scalar parameter here. For some reason I can't hit 1. I got some kind of weird thing going on. I can type, but it's like my pen tablet's taken over. Oh, well there it goes. Yeah, I think I have my pen tablet sitting too close to my actual surface. So let's just put that 0.8 on there. I don't use 1 because it's just too bright. Take a look at him, and now let's see how our normal map behaves. And we got a little bit of issues going on with the sleeve, which I'll need to fix. Can do that probably in Photoshop. But as you can see, there's a little bit of seam going on, like up here at the shoulder. Yeah, I've got a real issue with holding a key down and using the mouse. I'm only getting a little bit of lighting movement. That is really weird. But if I rotate around the model, you can see he doesn't have any seams. And that the main worry would be, well, what's going to be on the left side is going to be dipped in where it's bulging out on the right, but that's not actually the case because we're using a tangent space normal map. So aside from some very minor seams, this is working out rather well, and it has for me in the past. You got to get at very specific angles to find a broken seam, or where you can even tell where the seam is. So as you can see, that works out nice, and it's mirrored, so it's twice the resolution. So from a distance, when this guy's running by, truck, you're not going to notice any problems with him. Now what I'm going to do next is show you the quick trick on how to get something to cross over that seam, over the mirror line, and not be mirrored. And all it is just a second UV channel. Let's find right here, which is map channel, and we're going to move this channel over because we didn't have any information in there anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the word army on his back. Pretty much about here. So, what I want to do is select the faces where I feel confident that it's going to be. Army can pretty much go across there, no problem. Okay, I'm going to hit Control D and I'm going to move those out of the way. Actually, I'm going to planar map that real quick by hitting this planar here. And if I show checker, you'll see that it's not very good. Okay, all I gotta do is hit peel here and then pack. Now it's upside down, so I'm gonna flip it over by hitting that twice, and I'm gonna move that pretty much right in the middle. Okay, now I'm gonna hit Control I, take everything else and just shrink her down and tuck it up here in the corner. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I think that there is a render UVW template here. I want it to be 2048 by 2048, and let's just render that, and that's going to bring up an image that I can now save. Let's put that with the other images. Okay, and we're going to call this recruit second UV template, and we're going to make it a TGA. Save. 32-bit because I want the alpha. Do I need any of that stuff? I don't think I need any of that, but it's not that big of a deal. Okay, that's done. Come back to Photoshop. Open this file. Okay. Actually, don't want it. It's kind of dumb of me. I don't want it 2048. I don't need that. Just 1024. Do I have an alpha channel? Yep. Just hold Control. I can't hold Control or anything like that. All my keys are dead. Right click don't work either. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, I'm just going to type the word army. I don't know why I'm getting. I think I'm painting on the on the alpha channel. That's why. Okay, army, and that's so interesting. Well, let's just make it like 256 or so. And I'll use my keyboard to move it around since my mouse is acting like a piece of crap. Okay, so Helvetica News, probably not what I want. Not that this matters. We'll do stencil, and that might be a little. That might be pushing it a little bit too much. No, I wanted impact. Alright, let's space it out a little bit. Maybe not that much. Let's shrink the letters a little bit. Still can't do anything in here. This is so weird. And we'll just leave it like that. We're going to ditch our alpha channel, yes. Let's hide that layer. And this is really hard without okay, so we're gonna go, actually, let's just make a new, alpha channel here. Select that, Control C, Control V, Control D. Okay, so that's my alpha channel. I want this text here to actually be black. That worked. So freaking weird. I'm not getting over it. Okay, let's just make a new layer and fill it with black. I don't really need the text on there, and you can see that I got this alpha channel here. White is going to show. So File, Save As, and this is going to be shirt logo, but I'm going to prefix that with recruit shirt logo, and I want that to be a TGA and 32-bit. And let's go back to UDK. Actually, let's go back to max. Now with that unwrap still in the stack, and export selected, just gonna replace him. Okie doke. Go back to UDK. Let's go to our content browser, which is already here. Right click him and re-import. Okay. And then we go back to our material. And actually, let's get the texture in here that we just made. And we keep it like that. This is an epic waste of texture space. This is just an example. I could definitely put more logos and whatnot on here. And what we're going to do is just drag this in here. And what we can do now is bring up the texture coordinates. Now you'll see that if I put this on him, he's basically just going to go black. But let's put the alpha channel on him, and you'll see I'm going to get all this crazy army weird stuff all over the place. Okay? But if we tie in the texture coordinates and we switch this UV channel to 1, you can see that there's army right on his back. So now all I gotta do can't use my hotkeys. Oop. Linear, it's not called lerp. Is take this color over to this color using this alpha channel, put that on there, and there you go. Now it says army, which crosses over his back like perfectly. And the normal maps still work, as you can see there. All of that works just fine. So that's it. I mean, I still have to paint him, obviously. Put the fur on him and do the gray shirt and the, I don't know, darker gray shorts or whatever. Most of its painting is going to be his fur, which I'm going to project. And I got to do his hands and his tail and the boots and all that. And probably need to figure out what I got to do to fix some of these issues here, because that bled out over on his shoulders. I can just paint that out. The reason that that got broke was because of the way that the geometry actually is. It was a bit of a lazy shortcut on my part that came back to bite me in the butt. All I did was just pull the arm in. I didn't give it any kind of edge or real seam or anything like that. And actually, if I open up this channel 1 and pick these faces, you can see that that's how it got unwrapped. But the subdivision splitting this, you know, I've got this sharp point, kind of hard to... Let's use the space mouse to be a little bit easier. You can see that that's not good geometry type for sculpting. If at the very least this leading edge here going around should be chamfered to give it an actual thickness, but I was lazy and I cheated because I wasn't super worried about it. But what it did kind of do was bleed up over to the top part of it, and that is somewhat of an issue. So I'm going to have to manually clone that part of it to fix that. If you look in Mudbox here, if I right click here and I say move this to the diffuse, now I can actually see. The space mouse doesn't work as well in Mudbox. In fact, it's quite terrible, to the point they need to, like, if I push forward it stutters and then it shoots in all fast, so can't really use it in here. And now that I've actually activated it, I'm having issues getting all my other hotkeys to work. So I'm going to save this. This is just as a sculpt. Let's open a new scene. And we will bring him back in. Keep the mesh. Don't show the errors. We'll import a layer and go back to recent places here to the U1V1 and open that as diffuse. Let's look at this in flat lighting. So the normal map's actually okay, but the problem is the smoothing group. So let's see if that fixes it, because I think it will. Really, I should be painting this part black, solid, and I think I will. So it has no lighting, so the normal map information is not going to matter anyway. Be black color, black lighting, just to kind of simulate that it's in, you know, dark shadow. Let's pop that on, no, actually let's pop that on 3 because the arm's already on 2, and that's fine there. Let's see what happens now if we re-export. Go back to the UDK, bring up our content browser to mesh, re-import. Let's see if that did us any good. So yeah, that was just a smoothing group issue. It had nothing to do with the normal maps. So not a problem at all. And it looks looks good, right? I mean, the normal maps are clean. If you ask me, they are perfectly fine. That's all, just about one for what I sculpted to what I'm seeing here. Obviously, my edges are no longer bulgies, but that's the whole point of using a normal map. Yeah. So there you have it. This part is going to be relatively short. We're at 30 minutes here. The fourth part will be the painting of the diffuse texture and some of the specular channels and whatnot. There's not going to be a lot of specular work. It's mostly going to be diffuse, and it is going to be a lot of projecting fur, which in a lot of ways is not a lot of fun. And we have this army image here. I'm probably going to try to optimize the space, the usage on that. Obviously don't need an alpha channel. I could just put it in the red channel, but I had to do it that way because of what's going on with Photoshop. Hey, here's a test. Yeah, look at that. I can't grab that at all. So basically Photoshop is this is corrupted. I need to open it again. I just need to reopen, or I might need to reboot my computer, because look, I can't paint at all. I mean, it just does the start and it's like random. So I could be lagging, or I could be something else. So when I come back to the part 4, which I'm actually not going to do now, I'm gonna come back to that probably tomorrow, but for you guys it'll be instant. I'm gonna upload all of these at the same time, so part 4 should be up almost immediately following part 3. And yeah, so I will return for the next part, but we have a success. Our sculpt came through and we're happy. Okay, all right.